Hello, Zoom family. It's good to see you guys. Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing today? It was pretty good. One more time. How are we doing today? Trying to keep Diamante's spirit alive while he's out there working and getting used to his new job at Eli Lilly. But thank you to all of our guests for being here today. I hope that you find this club to be a family. This is a place where you can get plugged in, connected. As A said, find friendships, right? But also make an impact in what we're doing here in the community in the Triangle. So very excited for you all to be here today. Hopefully you'll also find a quick highlight of the things that we're involved in, engaged with, and how you can help out. There's a lot of work to do here in Raleigh, so we need more members to do great work and to live a life of service above self, which is the Rotary motto. For all of our guests, because we have quite a few here today, I wanted to highlight something I gave you. This is a kind of a little welcome letter with a QR code down at the bottom. The QR code will take you to our website. We'll tell you more about our club. You can find the new membership application there. Want to make sure I highlight that. I have to leave early today. I won't be at the end saying hello. But I'll follow up with email. All right. With all that in the way, want to do a quick update for us. This past Tuesday, we had our first Young Professional Luncheon for the Rotary Club of Raleigh. It was held by Sarity Partners, Maddie Chastain, who's a member. Their office opened it up, and we had a fantastic time. 13 people came to our Young Professionals Luncheon. It was a great opportunity for us to connect, hear more about what we're, as young professionals, what we're working on, how we want to improve our business, and things like that. It was just also a great way to talk with people that we haven't been able to talk with outside of meetings. So we had 13 show up. We're planning on doing this as a quarterly event, and hopefully we add to the number of young professionals there. But it was a great time. So, and then also, I wanted to do a quick shout out to someone specific in our club. Jim Graham had a highlight as a membership update and highlight. Jim Graham, at the end of the month, will be retiring from 63 years of banking. So I just wanted to highlight all the great work that you've done for our community, for your clients, for your friends. Thank you so much. Also, 29 years as a member of this club as well. So this is a man who's worked hard. I'm so glad that you're jumping into retirement, but also thank you so much for all that you've done for this club and this community. Round of applause for Jim. All right, outside of that, Tommy and I are working on our new member breakfast. We have quite a few new members. We want to have a breakfast as well as a new member orientation. So be on the lookout for both of those dates coming up here soon. Tommy.
Excellent. What a great member highlight too for Jim. Love that. It's a huge accomplishment. Next, we got a fundraising update from our own Mike Brennan. Mike.
Thank you, President Tommy. As we've talked about, the next big event that we have going on is the October celebration. Again, October 10th. Both John and James are going to be getting in touch with people, as we are definitely going to be needing a big volunteer lift from the club. We'll probably kind of split it into two halves, kind of a morning shift, afternoon shift. At this point in time, the plan is to be an event from 11 to 7 p.m., kind of have 11 to 2, maybe 3 o'clock be more of the family friendly, come learn about planting trees, the planting season, have some children's activities, things of that nature. And then I believe it's 3 p.m. is when we're going to start the music and selling some alcohol and having a good time. So definitely keep your ears open for that. We are going to need support from the entire club to make this a mass event. We have huge buy-in from the city, so we really, really want to make this a success and hopefully something that we can do every year and just kind of hang our hat on that we know we're doing this and just keep moving it forward. We also are starting to run out of days. We're doing the drawing for the Carolina Hurricanes tickets raffle on September 28th, which is a Monday meeting, essentially the last meeting we have before the first game that we have tickets for. As I remember, it is 2 tickets, club level, $100 a ticket. We're only going to sell 500 of them. We've only sold like a little more than 40 right now, so the odds are very good. If you haven't already, there's a QR code if you want to go grab it. So now's the time where you hold your phone up and you hover over that and then you tap on the give some. But that's all we got. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Fantasy football. We have our 13 members locked in, so that's $1,300. Half is going to go to the club. The winner is going to be winning $400. I think second place is going to be getting $250. So we do have 2 winners out of this. So good luck, everyone. We had our draft last Tuesday. I auto drafted again, and we'll see if that worked out.
Mike, thank you very much. And while James is making his way up here, you may have seen an email from me this week. We are asking everybody to give some consideration to the fundraising committee. I know they make this stuff look super easy. Between Mike and John, it looks like we just post stuff and money comes in, but it really doesn't happen that way. It really happens as a team effort and a club effort. So the 2 of them are specifically, humbly asking us as a club if we'll jump in and help them. And I think it's one of the most important things that we'll do all year. So please do tune in as they give these updates. James, come on up, brother. Let's get a service update from you, sir.
Welcome. And before I get started on the service slide, I want to thank everyone who contributed to the Wake Ed Partnership school supplies. I got a lot of packages at my apartment that I brought over to them. I made several trips, making another trip today. And for those who sent checks, thank you for that as well. That's awesome. And I know it was greatly appreciated because when we were at the Clouds other location 2 weeks ago, the bartender came over to me afterwards, who happened to be a teacher, and she said she literally goes into her pocket every year to make sure some of the kids have supplies. So she was grateful that we did that. So thank you for that. And we have a slide. You know me, I don't see or hear. Oh, there we go. Okay. Before I do that, I want to share a story. I happen to love Mecca Restaurant downtown. I don't know if anyone knows of that place, but I've been going there for years, and they always serve big portions, and it's a great value. So whenever I go there, I always order my lunch and immediately get a to-go box so I can give half of it to a homeless person that I find walking back to my building. So a few weeks ago, I happened to get lunch. Usual thing, I get my to-go bag, and I'm walking through Nash Square, and I see a homeless person sitting on a bench. So as I normally do, I go up and strike a conversation with him, and I ease into it because he's sitting there, and I just asked him, you enjoying the weather? And he said, yes. I'm looking up, I'm like, it's kind of hot. He's like, yeah, it'd be nice if it cooled off a little bit. And then I said, I have some lunch, extra lunch that I didn't have. If you'd like, maybe you're hungry, you'd like to have it. And he looked down at the park bench next to him and picked up a big platter of sushi and custom-made chopsticks and a Perrier and looked at me and said, no, I'm good, but thank you very much. So a lesson is, if you're going to approach somebody and offer them food, make sure that they need it, because I was embarrassed. The next opportunity for service is going to be on September 25th, which is a Friday morning. It'll be from 9:30 to 12:30. It's at the Church of the Good Shepherd Soup Kitchen. And I'm there every Friday, and we'll be preparing food at 9:30, serving it, and then cleaning up. We only have room for 4 Rotarians, so reach out to me at the end of this meeting or during the week. But it's fabulous. We prepare food for anywhere between 200 and maybe 275 people every day, actually. But it's a great opportunity to see the need in the community. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Perfect. James, thank you very much. I'm always open to free food if you find yourself in that situation. So, all right, let's go through and do some birthdays and some anniversaries. Birthdays, we've got a couple that are tomorrow. We got Tom Weber tomorrow, Chuck Leedy tomorrow. Maddie is tomorrow. Where'd Maddie? Yeah. Let them know what's your birthday present this year. Pretty amazing birthday gift. She credits her husband. So if you're one of the ladies in the room that likes this idea, you would have to go find your own source. Hers is taken. So very nice. Kathy Stewart on the 28th, Randy Mounts on the 28th, and James LaMancha on the 30th. So we got some great birthdays coming up. If you see these Rotarians, make some time to celebrate together with them. No anniversaries this week, though. We do have some upcoming meetings, and we've got some really good ones coming up here. So next week is next stage drumming for the neurodivergent. This is a methodology to use drums and rhythm to help folks who are neurodivergent. And if you haven't heard anything about this, it's going to be an excellent program, really one of a kind. And she'll tell us a little bit about how she does this. The following week is Labor Day. You can come here for Labor Day, but you'll be by yourself. There'll be no program. There'll be no Rotary. You have to buy your own lunch. And then the week after that, on the 14th, is Anna Shabir. She's a medical doctor, and she's talking about perfectionism in our community. So those are the upcoming meetings that we can highlight for you. We've got a raffle today. I saw Tom selling some tickets. Hopefully we've got a hot pot. Tom, come on up. Very good. While Tom's grabbing that, you guys know that our pot is progressive each week. So each week it grows and bigger and bigger and bigger. We've had probably about 10 weeks or so without anybody winning. So the pot's getting to be pretty right. So if you're somebody that doesn't normally play, this might be a point in time where you start paying attention because the dollar amounts are getting pretty large these days. Tom, you want to tell us what's on the table today?
$20 for whoever gets the raffle today. What's the total pot up to? Anybody know?
I'll take a look while you draw a winner
Okay.
there. I'll let you do that. I'll take a look.
All right. 144816. There we go. That's right. Oops.
You said 20, 40.
40.
Oh, all right.
Come out of here.
Shuffle them up good. Try not to take it.
All right. Get the ace of clubs, get it off. Shuffle them again.
Trying to be honest. No, which one? I'm gonna go over here. What's that?
King of hearts.
King of Hearts. No winner.
No winner. Thank you, sir.
Tom, thank you very much. As always, I couldn't put my hands on it quickly enough, but our grand jackpot ought to be around $1,000 right now. So if you were to have won today's raffle and pulled the correct card, you'd win $1,000 in addition to what you won on the raffle. So for those of you that are interested, please do keep playing because it really helps the club. It's a little miniature fundraiser for us during the year. Dementia Alliance buckets are on your table. If you want to put your money in, you can do that, and the buckets will be collected at the end of the meeting. We also have happy dollars today, and we've got a friendly face to do happy hours. Frank is here this week. We're excited to see him, so we put him to work.
Come on, Frank. How we doing? I want to start off the happy dollars. I just came back from Ireland. We had a family reunion there. 96 members from my family came to Ireland to see where my grandparents were born. Fabulous, fabulous. Happy dollars. Who else is going to join me? Happy dollars. Come on, get them up. All right, Kevin.
All right, I'm happy that John Cates informed me that he is going to attend the interest meeting for the Dominican Republic trip next year. I'm tired of going on this trip by myself, guys. I really need some company from the local club. So there is an interest meeting in October. It was sent out in the newsletter. It will be sent out again. If you're interested, this isn't a commitment at this point. Please come to that meeting.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Happy dollars. Here we go. All right, how are we doing?
Great, thank you. I have very happy dollars for last week, when my wife and I got to spend the week in Boston to meet our first ever grandchild. 2-week-old little boy named Emerson. So this is for Emerson.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Anybody else? Hey, hello. How are you doing? You're doing a big one.
I got a big one.
We got a big one over here. All right, let's do it.
I was very happy. I have been up in my hometown of Michigan since the end of June, and it was lovely to spend time with my friends and family. And the hottest it really got was like 85.
Ooh.
95 one day, but that's another story. My mom was giving me sad face because I left, and then my brother's coming for a month with his family. So I'm going back up. I'm going to fly this time this week up there and surprise my mom. So I'm very excited about that. and get another break from the heat. So I did go to a Rotary meeting in Marquette. It was really cool because they had their Japanese delegation, I guess you would say there. It was a really neat experience. So had a good summer.
Great,
Lots of
thank
happy
you.
dollars.
All right, Angie, great. Congratulations. Who else we got one? Happy dollar. Anybody up? Oh, here we go. Miss Linda, hello. Come on over here. Hello.
I am happy because my son, Tim, competed in the shuffleboard competition at Carolina Ale House with Stella D'Artois. And he made the finals, and he went yesterday, and the other 8 finalists didn't show up. So he won by default a trip to Belgium.
Wow. Congratulations.
So it's always important to show up in life.
Very good. Thank you, Linda. Buddy, hey. Sure, how you doing?
I've got 2.
Okay, let's do it.
This is my first official meeting being here wearing my red badge.
Hey, congrats.
My foot was hurt and I've been attending online, but there is no boot,
Hey,
dress shoes. I'm here and I'm excited.
great. Okay.
The second is I got a belated state budget present. I work as a lobbyist. The fancy, nice way is I'm in government relations since we're not too popular. But I was trying to get 6 things in the budget and I thought I had 3, including funding for childcare, a summer feeding program, and subsidizing a mobile farmers market. But a social services organization called Haywood Christian Ministry in Western North Carolina, I got them $150,000 thanks to a senator, and he hadn't bothered to tell me that he'd send his funds to a foundation first. And so all this time I thought I didn't get money for my client, but now they can better serve their community and the farmers in their community. So I'm just thrilled. So here's my other.
What you do? Appreciate it. Anybody else? Oh, there we go. Come on. All right, Prez, what do you got for us?
All right, I feel like it wasn't that long ago when I got dropped off at college, but apparently it's been a pretty good bit ago. I dropped off my oldest at the University of Mount Olive on Saturday.
Congratulations.
So that was a lot of fun. And then I'll give a buck for Jim Graham. I just thought that was awesome news.
Terrific. Very good.
There we go. Excellent. So with that being said, we have an outstanding, really fun presentation for you guys today. Mr. Peter Gorey is going to come up and do the introduction for us. Peter, take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Me again. I'm delighted today to be introducing Tom Hutchinson from the New Hope Railway. I went there last Halloween and with another group that I'm a member of, and it was great fun, even if I was chastised for pushing the children out of the way so I could get the best seat, which I thought was very unfair. Little known fact about me, I love trains. I've loved them since I was a child. I've done the Orient Express kind of bits, and I've also been across Canada and things like that. I just don't get a chance to use them. My view of trains does change commuting in London, however. If you get a chance, bearing in mind that you're generally parents or grandparents here, the leaflets are on the table over there. It's a great place to take your grandchildren. You know, you could lose them there. It'd be fantastic. And their Halloween stuff is brilliant. Now, just quickly regarding our speaker series, we are booked up until April. So we've got dates in April, May, and June, but they are going fast. So if you have suggestions for a speaker, please let me know. But more importantly, we do also have Richard's year as well, which once I've had a chance to speak to Richard and he hasn't fired me, we're going to start feeling that up too. So without further ado, Tom Hutchinson. Tom is a lovely man. I first met him actually a year ago, but he doesn't remember that. And he was the one who told me I wasn't allowed to push children out of the way. Tom was born in Illinois, which means he's a Yankee, just saying. No judgment. And he was a CPA in-house for many years, retired in early 2015, and has been a volunteer on the railway ever since. And he, I know from my own sources, speaking to them, works tirelessly to both modernize the appearance of the railway and also really make it interesting for people who attend. They the volunteers there are fantastic with families and kids. They really are. They really engage with them and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to today's talk. And if you haven't been to the Railway, shame on you. You need to go. Okay, that's about as much blackmail as you're going to get from me today. So without further ado, Tom.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, can everybody hear me? Okay. Before I get in the slideshow, let me just mention a couple things. Peter mentioned. You mentioned I'm a Yankee. Well, I do want to say when I moved here, the Triangle, I did move into Cary, the containment area. So I'm legit. I'm in the containment area for relocated Yankees. I first became interested in trains when I was 5 years old. Does anybody here ever get a Lionel train set for Christmas? Well, that's how I started off, and taking the train to Chicago. And when you're a little kid, things impress you, and it just stuck for the last 60 years. So let's get on with it. First of all, what are we? I'll have our mission statement here. The mission of the North Carolina Railway Museum is to educate current and future generations in the exciting science, technology, and development of America's railroads, while preserving the heritage of railroading, its connection to and social impacts on the land, people, and industries of North Carolina and our nation. Typical mission statement, too long, but we'll kind of get into what all this means now. First of all, now where are we? Now, if you're looking for us, we are 9 miles southwest of downtown Apex. So if you're in downtown Apex on Salem Street, just keep heading southwest, out of town, becomes Old US 1, you pass 540, and 9 miles from downtown Apex, there we are. It's a little hard to see in the light, but we're just off of US 1, and we have directions on our website. Now, a lot of words here. I'm going to go through and just say, how did we start? We're actually the remnants of an abandoned railroad line. In 1904, the New Hope Valley Railway was founded. And essentially, it went from the Seaboard Coast Line, main line, up to Durham. And its purpose was to haul lumber and tobacco between the main line and Durham. And then it was succeeded by another railroad, the Durham and South Carolina Railroad, that eventually became part of the Norfolk and Southern. So how did we get where we are? If you're familiar at all with Jordan Lake, it didn't used to be there. It used to be a valley, and this railroad went through that valley. So when the Corps of Engineers built Jordan Lake, part of the construction costs was to relocate that line. Well, they did, and starting in about 1982, they started filling the lake, but about that time too, the railway shut down. So essentially, they built this brand new railway line to go out of the valley and skirt what was going to be the lake, and it didn't even last 5 years. It was abandoned. So if you've ever gone on the American Tobacco Trail, the northern 25 miles of that American Tobacco Trail is this old line. So you go from downtown Durham, and then it stops a little ways south of US 64, and then there's 4,000 feet of abandoned railroad track, and then is the 4 miles that is our place, the New Hope Valley Railway. So in 1983, members of the East Carolina chapter of the National Railway Historical Society purchased that last 4 miles going from the main line north, and we took it over, and we've been running excursions there ever since. So like I say, the main line runs between Old US 1 and New US 1, and then just north of there we pick up, go 4 miles, abandoned line, and then the tobacco trail. So that kind of puts us in perspective. So we are the successor of that East Carolina chapter. We operate an out and back 8-mile total line. So 4 miles out, we have a run around of the locomotive, pull it back 4 miles back. We also have some historic railroad cars that you can tour, and I'll show you that in a minute. We have a garden railway there that has 1,000 feet of track. And if nobody knows what a garden railway is, you know, you remember your Lionel, those of you who had Lionel, you know, train sets, this is about twice as big. So the rails are about that far apart, and we got 1,000 feet of that running outside with 6 trains. We're all volunteer. There's about 250 members. Of that, I'd say we've got about 70 to 75 active volunteers. All volunteer, no paid staff. We're a tax-exempt 501c3 organization. So if you see to donate money to us, it's tax deductible. Most of our annual revenue, though, is from ticket sales. You know, I mentioned we do train rides. Now, I have some slides on that in a minute. But we have roughly 18,000 riders a year. So average ticket's about $15. So you do the math. That's where most of our revenue comes. Our expenses, since we're all volunteer, none of it goes to payroll. It's either to track maintenance or insurance or restoration of rail cars. And let's kind of show you a little bit about us here. So what do we have? And it's a little harder to see here with all the little lines there with the TV screens, but you can see there the red locomotive. That's one of our operating locomotives. It dates back to the early 1940s. And then we have 2 cabooses and 4 passenger cars that we've basically built ourselves out of old flat cars. They have roofs, but they're open to the side. And like I say, we give you a nice little 50-minute ride through the piney woods of North Carolina. And you have a wonderful 15-mile-an-hour breeze because that's our top speed, 15 miles an hour. In addition, you know, I mentioned our average fare is about $15, $16. We also have a caboose, I'll show you, that you can somebody can rent out for a birthday party. So if you got some kids or grandkids, you rent out the caboose, hold your party in the caboose, and then go on the train ride. We have some special events. Peter referred to our Halloween event that's coming up during 3 weekends in October. We decorate the place up. We actually, as you're going down the line, there's a place where one of our volunteers is dressed as a witch, and she zips on a zip line. So we have a flying witch. So if anybody wants to volunteer, she's looking, you know, for a little break. We also have something called Operate a Loco. We're actually sold out for the year, but 2 Saturdays a month, you can come down to the railroad and learn how to drive a locomotive. So effectively, you climb in the cab with one of our engineers and put your hand on the throttle, and under his expert training, you get to go out that 4 miles and then come back that 4 miles. So it's a 1 hour. You can't see it. By the way, it's not $30, it's $300. You just can't see that zero because of the big line. But that's very, like I said, it's very popular, and we're sold out for the year. So what else do we have? We have, I'll show you pictures in a minute, we have a 1922 railway post office that you can go through. It's been restored. It's typical, got the mail sacks and all little slots. You can learn how the mail used to be transported. We have a 100-year-old caboose you can go through. We have another caboose you can go through. It was donated by Duke Energy. It used to be an escort vehicle for a nuclear fuel train. So in essence, they'd have a locomotive, they'd have some flat cars that have this spent nuclear fuel on it, and then they'd have a caboose complete with guards with machine guns. And Duke Energy donated that to us. We have an 84-year-old troop train kitchen car that's now our gift shop. I mentioned the G-scale layout. We've got the birthday caboose, which is air conditioned, and you can charter a train. So let's show you some pictures here. Here's the G-scale layout. At the upper right-hand side, you can see the area. It's about a 45 by 60 foot area. It's got 1,000 feet of track. The scale, if you look in the lower right hand, you can see one of our volunteers re-railing a railroad car, but that kind of gives you an idea. And of course, we always run Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle for the kids. So you can see Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle there in the middle. I mentioned our railway post office. On the left, you can see the exterior. On the right, you can see one of our docents, who happens to be our oldest volunteer. Doc is 90 years old, and health permitting, you can usually find him in the railroad car wearing his surplus U.S. Postal Service uniform, and he'll tell you all about how a railway post office used to work. I mentioned we have the old U.S. Army troop kitchen car. The left shows it from the outside. The inside, we have a display. Here's the nuclear fuel escort vehicle, the outside of the caboose, and the inside. And it's kind of hard to see here. Right, it doesn't. Right about here, in this center panel, you can see a 3D printed M16 rifle. That's what they used to carry to protect against nefarious people. I mentioned the birthday caboose. There's the exterior and interior of the birthday caboose. And like I say, you can rent that for a couple hour and a half or 2 hours, have your party in there. We can accommodate up to about 15 people. Have a little deck out in front. You can see some kids enjoying the picnic tables and the deck outside. So our future. In 2023, we completed a long-range plan, kind of a what if. And it's really, what we'd like to do is really lean more into the museum aspects. You know, everybody likes the train ride and the birthday caboose and the garden railway, but we have a lot of interesting railroad exhibits and artifacts that we just don't have the space or place to display. We've got them in a storage unit someplace in Apex. So some of the things we're doing right now is we have a steam locomotive there, but it's down for maintenance. Every 15 years, you have to take a steam locomotive out of service, take it apart, rebuild it, and in the process of the rebuild, you have a federal inspector that comes and looks at it. So it's kind of like building a house when the building inspector comes. So we're right now trying to restore our locomotive to service. We also, and I'll show you a picture of that in a second, we have a depot that we're restoring, and we have a couple new exhibits. So why don't I show that we're just getting ready to start constructing. So why don't I show you that? To the left is how the steam locomotive looked in 2018 on its last run. On the right, you can see what it looks like now. Totally taken apart. It's, I think the next step is to put in new boiler tubes. Fingers crossed, another year to year and a half and probably $150,000 to finish it. We've already put, I'd say about $350,000 into its restoration. So that's one of our key priorities, is to get that thing back in service. And once it's back in service, we also offered those operator locos. So in fact, some of our volunteers have done that too. You can actually be at the throttle of a steam locomotive. Mention the depot. On the right, you can see what is called the Goldston Depot. It used to be a railroad depot in Goldston, North Carolina. We had it moved to our site, just like a house move, lifted it up, put it on a trailer, moved it to our site, and put it on new footings. We've restored the office inside, and we're in the process of restoring the rest of the inside. Once it's restored, that will be a place for interactive exhibits and to display some of our railroad artifacts. So that's kind of a high priority and where a lot of our funding from our ticket sales and donations is going. We also have a plan. We have some parked equipment that's no longer operating. On the left, you can see there's a locomotive, an old reefer car, and then 2 locomotives next to that. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put an exhibit called Locomotion, the Power to Move. And what that's going to have, it's going to have a deck or a platform along all of that. That reefer car, that silver refrigerator car, is now empty. It's going to have some exhibits in it. And we're hoping to rig up something in the red, white, and blue locomotive so you can actually have a simulated locomotive experience. On the left, you can see what looks like a pretty decrepit baggage car. On the middle is we have a group of volunteers that's restoring it. They've replaced the subfloor. Right now, they're doing a lot of painting and scraping. And eventually, this is going to be a museum display inside. Part of it's actually going to have like an old dining car restoration. And on the far right, that red and white caboose, one of our volunteers just started working on that restoration inside. That's going to be a kids exhibit area. We have a long-term site plan. You can't quite read it based on the bars, but if we had $10 million laying around, if one of our members or volunteers win the lottery, this would be the ultimate site plan. We'd have some more buildings. We'd have more exhibits. I hate to say it, but I probably won't live to see this happen. Like I say, it's a long-term plan, but it gives us something to work toward. The Goldston Depot and some of those other exhibits that I mentioned fit into this long-term plan. So earlier talking about needing volunteers at Rotary. Well, we need volunteers too. We're an all-volunteer organization. Some of the opportunities, these train rides I talked about, we usually have them only 4 or 5 days a month, usually 1 to 3 rides a day, because we got to get together volunteers to pull that off. So you can always be a volunteer on the train crew, anything from a car host to a brakeman, work your way up to conductor, or even a locomotive engineer. We have about half a dozen of our volunteers that have gone through a 1.5-year apprenticeship to become a locomotive engineer. You can imagine that's a lot of responsibility, because behind you, you're pulling railroad cars that have 250 people on board. So it's not a responsibility that we just hand out. You've got to be licensed and everything. We have other volunteer opportunities too. We have a parking lot where we greet people when they come in. We have a ticket office. I mentioned the Garden Railway. We always have a couple of folks working at the garden, have a gift shop, managing the birthday caboose, restoration activities, the inside of that Goldston Depot, painting. We're kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Gate Bridge, you start painting it at one end, and by the time you make it to the other end, it's time to start over. Well, that's kind of the way it is around here. Once we painted a half a dozen locomotives, it's kind of time to paint the first one again, especially when they're out in the sun. For a while, that red, white, and blue one you could see in the one picture was actually more like gray, white, and pink. But it's back to red, white, and blue. Mentioned the restoration activities. A lot of that happens on Wednesday morning. A lot of our members, like myself, are retired. There's usually about 20 of us that get together. We'll work around the property from 9 a.m. to noon. And we'll bring our sack lunches and we'll have lunch together, maybe finish up a project and head home before it gets even hotter. Rolling stock and site maintenance, we've got everything from carpentry to paint scraping to painting to have one volunteer that probably spends a couple hours every Wednesday morning at this time of year just mowing the lawn. You know, we have a parking lot that's bigger than a football field and the grass grows quick. Also, if you go to the state fair, we set up a garden railway at the state fair, and that's all run by volunteers. We operate it from about 9:30 in the morning to 8 at night. If you've ever been to the horticulture area, you know, where they've got the little barn where they judge all the flowers, well, and then there's like a mum tower. Well, we're right around there, right across from the bonsai folks. And we run a garden railway, and the timing's perfect because it gives us the ability to kind of tell visitors about our Halloween rides. Because in a way, we're kind of the best kept secret in the triangle, you know, because all volunteer, operating on donations and fairs. You know, we aren't like a personal injury attorney that you can see 5 of his ads between 6 and 6:30 on the local news. We rely a lot on word of mouth, outreach like me talking today, our exhibit at the state fair. And it's pretty cheap too. I mean, adult membership is $30 a year. Senior, which is 60 plus, is only $20. So we put you to work, but we don't charge you a lot to put you to work. We have a website. If you want to, if you please on your way out, pick up, we have 3 brochures there. One is a flyer talking about our Halloween and Christmas rides. One is a flyer that's more just general information. And the third flyer kind of has a keyed map of our site. And check our website. If you want to join us as a member, there's a page there for membership where you can join online. If you want to ride the train, again, check the website. Like I say, we only operate about 4 to 5 days a month, so you really got to check the website to see when we're operating. And here's an aerial view of the site. In the lower, kind of hard to see, but the garden in the center bottom is where the garden railway is. And then up at the intersection of some of those screens, that's our yard where people board the train. And and we actually have a bridge over old US 1. It's a pedestrian bridge now, but that used to be a railroad bridge because that's the part that they basically ripped up, was the rails off of that bridge and across our parking lot that connects with the what's now the CSX main line. And that thing that looks like a racetrack down there, that's actually the roads that go around our parking area. So that kind of is a quick overview of the New Hope Valley Railway. Don't know if anybody has any questions. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I will bring my family. The question is, what is the relationship, or what is the
Okay, there's a museum in Spencer. It's called the North Carolina Transportation Museum. And frankly, it's a lot bigger and more well-equipped than we are. We started as a couple train buffs part-time setting this up in 1984 and gradually building it. The one in Spencer is actually state supported. It's kind of like the state transportation museum. Our budget is about $400,000 a year. Theirs is about $6.5 million. And they have some paid staff. And frankly, they can afford to do a lot more than we do. We have a longer train ride than they do. They just have you a little 15-minute ride through the switch yard if you've ever been there. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, question was age requirements. We do have a youth membership for anyone who's just turned 14 up until they turn 18. To be honest, we've only got about 3 or 4 youth members. Kids that age are so busy with sports and school and everything, you know, they don't come out too often, but some do. They can be car hosts, they can help at the Garden Railway. Our full membership is 18 years old or above. 18 years of age, given the proper training, you can do anything. I mean, we don't have any engineers that are 20, but we have a brakeman that's, in fact, one of our brakemen is a junior, is a young lady who's a junior at NC State. And she's one of our brakemen that volunteers on some of our ride days. So from 18 years up, you can pretty much do anything, you know, anything from paint to be on the train crew. Obviously, the train crew requires some training. There's actually a morning training session, open book written test. Same thing for the state fair, you know, 18 years and older. And if someone's a new volunteer, we always try to pair them with a veteran, you know, because we always have 2 people at the state fair layout, so you can, you know, take a break and go get something to eat. And if we have somebody that's new, we always pair them with a veteran so they can new. I think I covered everything, didn't I? Or did I? Oh, driving. Theoretically, the operator loco, again, 18 years and above. Now, you can have, we have had situations, we have had instances where, let's say, a father is doing the operator loco, bring along your 10-year-old son, you know, to ride in the cab. We're not going to let him touch the throttle, but, you know, operator loco, we have let a child ride in the cab with the parent or grandparent. Anything else? Well, like I said, I encourage you to pick up our flyers on your way out. Hope to see you. I'm going to be, if you happen to be at the state fair, I imagine I'll probably have about five-hour shifts there. So odds are you might run into me at the state fair or at the Garden Railway. That's kind of where most of my volunteerism is at the Garden Railway. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate it.
Tom, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
And the railway always runs on time, and so does Tom. If you noticed, we are right on time. Oh, you want to get a photo? Yeah. Thank you. Tom, we did the best we could with what we had to work with on that photo. Thank you for hanging out. What's that? Mug? Yes. And Tom, we do have a small token of our appreciation. I'm glad they prompted me. It's got our Rotary 4-way test on the back, which we'll close our meeting with today. But it's a great token of your time here together with us. We really appreciate you coming to be a speaker. Thank you. Speaking. Oh, you went. Okay. That's all right. Speaking of our 4-way test, if you guys would all rise, we'll close today with our 4-way Rotary test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We do stand adjourned. Hey.